Well, good morning and good afternoon for everyone. This is our third webinar in 2026, but it is going to be the first one in English. We've had two in Spanish already. One was about mental training, and the second one was about the new rules and bylaws that Will Archery has published. There will be one in English about the same topic next Monday at 6 p.m. Colombia time. But today's webinar is going to be about the qualification systems for the Pan American and the Pan American Games in 2027. I have already distributed the qualification system for the Pan Am Games, which was approved by Pan Am Sports, and we will be distributing the same document for the Pan Am Games in the next few days. The information I'm going to be providing today is already confirmed, but we do not have the official document yet. Since I can see that we have a number of some representatives of our national federations, and the plan was to have at least to have one person from each national federation attending this meeting. I am going to start by talking about some updates regarding other things, and then we will go into the discussion about the qualifiers for the two games in 2027. Let me start sharing my my screen. Okay, I hope you can see it. Okay, good. And I would like everyone to keep their microphones off. In case you want to ask questions, just turn your microphones on and then you start talking, no problem. If you prefer to raise your hand, that's fine as well. But I won't be able to read the chat while I'm talking, so I think it is much better if you just turn your microphone on and ask your question. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about some of the latest updates about certain things. Number one is about events. And I'd like to remind our national federations and people who register archers to compete at certain tournaments that we have deadlines that are to be met. In the first place, on Monday, March 16, we will have the deadline for final registration to attend the World Cup in Puebla, Mexico. Please remember that Warriors will close at midnight, March 16, time in Switzerland, not the time here in the Americas. So make sure that if you want to register archers to compete at this event, you make your registration before midnight in Lausanne. Second event, which is important for some of the English-speaking Caribbean federations, is the Grand Prix in San Salvador, which is going to be the second and last qualifier for the Central American and Caribbean Games. The deadline for final registration is March the 23rd. That is Monday, the week after next. Then the Grand Prix in Chile. Final registration for this event closes on April the 19th. The Pan American Youth and Masters Championships in Medellin, for which final registration closes on May the 3rd. I want to tell you that at this point, we have over 285 archers registered to compete at this tournament. I explained a few days ago in an email I sent to our national federations that we were going to close Warriors because of the high number of participants that were registered in the preliminary registration process. But I'm happy to say now that the Colombian Federation has found a solution. We're going to be using a second field So that means that you can still register archers before May the 3rd. And the fifth, and I would say the most important tournament we're going to have in 2026 is the Pan-American Championships to be held in Tlaxcala, Mexico, for which preliminary registration closes on March the 23rd. I took a look at the registrations yesterday, and we already have 12 countries, which is, of course, a lot fewer than what we expect, since this is going to be the most important qualifier for the Pan American Games. We would expect to have more countries attending, and of course more archers. But make sure your national federations comply with these deadlines to avoid having to pay late registration penalties. I would also like to talk about the South American Games, though I do not think that the countries attending this session in English are involved, because these are going to be the South American Games, where I would say all countries are Spanish speaking. But this I'm going to say applies to all para events. So though I'm going to talk about Valledupar, the South American Games now, the same applies to the Pan American Championships to be held in Peru later in the year, and a Para World Series tournament to be held in Chile. And this has to do with classification requests. You are expected to send your medical intake forms 2 months before the day of classification at the games. So if you have archers that you would like to register to compete in Peru or in Chile or in any other international tournaments around the world, and these archers have not been internationally classified, you need to submit the medical diagnosis form 2 months before the day of classification. This is really very important. I want to say also that at this point, though we have countries registered for many events in the Americas in 2026 already, there are 5 member associations who still owe money to World Archery regarding their affiliation fees for 2026. So if your national federation is one of those, make sure that your payment is made before you attend your first tournament, because you won't be allowed to compete if payment is not completed before. Also, regarding latest updates, I want to tell you that I returned from Tlaxcala yesterday. I was there to visit the city and the preparations for the Pan American Championships and the Pan American and the World Archery Americas General Assembly. As was informed, our assembly will be on June the 22nd, and it will be held at the Holiday Inn Hotel in Tlaxcala. We did not have this information about the exact location of the assembly until 2 days ago. So I'm happy to confirm that the assembly will be held at this hotel. The facility is wonderful. The hotel is beautiful. We had some requests from some of our national federations regarding the number of rooms that were available at the original hotel we were going to use for this for the accommodation of assembly participants. I'm happy to say that we are going to move the accommodation from one hotel, the San Francisco one, that was the original one, to the Holiday Inn Hotel, which is going to be also the venue of the assembly. So in the next few days, you're going to hear from me about how to make bookings for rooms in this new hotel. The price is going to be the same as it was for the San Francisco. And the good thing is that the assembly will be held in the same place where you're going to be accommodated. You won't need to be moving from one place to another. Now, if there are countries that are attending the assembly with delegates who will stay for the championship, and you have already booked rooms in other hotels that were made available for the championship, do not worry. The organizing committee will provide transportation to bring you from your hotel to the hotel where the assembly is going to be. I'm also happy to inform that Will Archery President Greg Easton and Will Archery Secretary General Raul Kaling will be attending our assembly in Mexico. This is going to be a great opportunity for our assembly delegates to meet with the president and talk about any matters that you believe you should take advantage of this opportunity to talk about and to talk with the president there in Tlaxcala. Now, also about the assembly, I would like to remind you of certain deadlines. Before I move on, I want to tell you that this is being recorded, and all the presentation in the PowerPoint format and also a PDF version are going to be published on our website. So later you can take notes of all this information if you like. Very important, March the 20th is a deadline to bid for events in 2027 and 2028. We have not received any bids yet for events in these 2 years. Hopefully we will have a few bids with us before the deadline. And then there's a bunch of other deadlines regarding when to register to attend, when the committees are expected to send their reports, motions, and nominations for positions. The deadline is May the 7th. All the forms are already published. They can be found on our website. You go to the willarcheryamericas.com website and you look for the menu where it reads About Us. And there you have an option labeled 2026 General Assembly. You go in there and you will find all the forms and all the documents you need to have by now. Also, if you are not intending to attend for any reason, there's also a form that you can fill out to give your proxy to another country. And the deadline to submit this proxy form is June the 12th. Now, I want to tell you also that we are very happy to announce that 23 of our 32 national federations plus Suriname, 23 of these countries have already had their strategic plans approved. This is, I think, a great improvement. Still, 6 member associations have the opportunity to send their second or third versions of their plans by March the 23rd. And these are the 6 countries that did send their first version of the plan already, but their plan has not been finally approved. So they have today's the 14th, they have another 9 days to make all necessary corrections and get their plans approved by this second deadline. There are 3 member associations who never submitted their first version, and these are Bolivia, Honduras, and Panama, who won't be able to use the additional vote at the assembly because they did not comply with this. Another update is about forums, seminars, and webinars. For your information, all the schedule of our webinars and the link to have access to them in March and April, they're all already published on our website. Easy to find. You go to the website and there's an option in the menu reading website, and then you go in there and you have access to everything. We're going to have a technical delegate seminar in Medellin on May 22-24. The invitation is going to be out very soon. We're finalizing all the details regarding costs. There will also be an advanced iron sales seminar in Tlaxcala prior to the assembly. The assembly will be on the 22nd, and the seminar will be on the 20th and the 21st. There's some requisites to attend this seminar. One is that it will be in English only, no problem for you. The participants should have some knowledge of INSEO already, basic knowledge. They should have the system installed in their computers. So we will also be sending out the information about the costs. When I was in Tlaxcala, I talked to the president of the Mexican Federation of Will Archery Mexico about this seminar, and he promised that the prices are going to be very reasonable so that we can have people from several countries attending. We plan to have, while in Tlaxcala, on June the 23rd, we plan to have an athletes forum. And there are 3 topics that we want to cover. I mean, the archers are going to be there, and they will have the opportunity to discuss and about many things. But the 3 main topics will be rules our archers must know. Not all the rules, but there are certain things that the archers do need to know when they go to a tournament, and they need to be able to defend their rights in case something happens. So they need to know how to proceed about a number of situations. And we're going to be presenting this both in English and Spanish. Second topic will be marketing for archers. There's another topic that the archers are very much interested in. And the third one will be mental training for big events. We plan to have a few of our top athletes, in the conversation with the athletes attending, and they will be providing information as to how they get prepared to face a tournament, mentally speaking. And I would also like to tell you about the 2 regional level 2 coaching seminars that we plan to have, one in Spanish, one in English. These are going to be funded partially by Olympic Solidarity. One will be in Argentina, in Rosario, in September, and the other one in Guyana after the Caribbean Development Championship. So that is what we plan to do. So September, October, we will have 2 level 2 coaching seminars. More information will be provided quite soon. Now, before I go into the Pan American Games, are there any questions about this first part that you would like to ask? No? Okay. Well, now I want to talk about the Lima 2027 Pan American Games. The photo you have there is from the Pan Am Games held in Lima, also in 2019. We're going to be using the same facility in 2027. This is not an archery permanent, it's not a permanent archery facility. It is a rugby venue, but we're going to borrow it again. This facility will be able to accommodate all the archers that we will have in the games. There will be a practice field just adjacent to it, as we did have for the games in 2019. Now, I want to tell you now about main principles regarding qualification for the 2027 games having to do with the recurve categories. First, I'm going to focus on recurve, and then I'll talk about compound. In the first place, I want to talk about teams. As in 2023 in Santiago, we will have 8 teams. And each team, in the case of the recurve, will be formed by 3 archers. In addition to the 8 teams, there will be 8 more individuals from 8 different countries. This means that you can compete either with a full team or with just 1 archer. There's no possibility you can have 2 individual competitors unless your second archer is the gold medal winner of the Pan American Junior Games held in Paraguay in 2025. So this may allow a country, in the case of recurve, if I remember correctly, the gold medal in the men's category was for Guatemala, and the gold medal in the women's category went to Brazil. So in case Brazil and Guatemala do not qualify with their full teams, they will have 2 archers. They may have 2 archers competing individually. Now, regarding mixed teams, we're not going to have a qualifier. We're not going to allocate positions to mixed teams to compete at the games. The teams are going to be formed by one man and one woman, as usual. So if a country has qualified a man and a woman, automatically they have a mixed team. Now, also about recurve qualification, um, these are the events at which it will be possible to qualify to compete at the Pan Am Games. In the first place, the Pan American Junior Games that were already held in 2025 in Paraguay. So the gold medal winner has won a position for himself or herself, not for his or her country. So if the archer who won the gold medal in Paraguay does not attend for any reason, this position is going to be vacant and will not be filled by anyone else. Now, the first, I would say, tournament as such for all countries to win spots for the games will be the Pan American Championships in Tlaxcala. We're going to have a big tournament. We expect to have around 300 archers combining compound, recurve, and bare bow. The facility is quite big. We expect to be able to use around 80 targets. And this will be, I would say, the most important qualifier for the games. Then also in Tlaxcala, we will have the North American qualifier, and I will talk about it in the next few minutes. I'm sorry. Following that, in July, we will have the Central American and Caribbean Games in Santo Domingo, and then in September, the South American Games in Rosario, Argentina. And there will be a last qualifier. We do not know yet where and when it will be, but it will need to finish by April the 18th, because we need to submit all the information regarding who has qualified to the National Olympic Committees by the 18th of April. Of course, 2027. Okay. Then I want to go into details now about each of the tournaments and what positions are going to be allocated. In the first place, the gold medal winner, Asuncion, you know about this already, and this person, this archer, the man and the woman, they can compete at the following qualifiers for a team position for their National Olympic Committee, but not for one more individual spot for the country. So, for example, the young man from Guatemala who won the gold medal in the recurve men category, he can come to Tlaxcala and be part of the Guatemalan team looking for a team position for the country. But if, for instance, Guatemala does not win a team position in Tlaxcala, and they have the right to win an individual position, the archer who won the individual spot in Asuncion cannot compete in the individual qualifier. Then Peru, as the host country, they will be given full team positions, both in recurve men and recurve women. So 3 men and 3 women in recurve for Peru. Then the Pan American Championships in Tlaxcala, we will allocate 5 team spots, which means 15 archers. And in addition to the team spots, we will allocate another 3 individual positions from 3 different countries in a separate match play round. In Tlaxcala, the team competition will take place first. So we will know which countries have won team spots, and then the following day we will have the special qualifier for the Pan Am Games, in which only countries that did not win a team spot will be able to compete looking for individual positions. And though you can register 4 archers to compete in Tlaxcala in any of the categories, only 3 of these archers will be able to enter the qualifier, the special individual qualifier for the games. Then we will have, and maybe then is not the best word because this is going to happen simultaneously. So the United States and Canada are going to be able to win one individual position, as in the North American qualifier. Now, what is the North American qualifier? The North American qualifier is the same separate match play round that will be used to allocate individual places. If Canada and the United States are not in the top 5 teams and they're not in the top 3 individuals, as long as one of their archers is in the top 8 in the special individual round, the one of the highest place, either Canada or the United States, they will win a position for the games. Now, if Canada and the United States are either in the five top teams or in the top 3 individuals, this position that was meant to be allocated to North America will be an additional 4th position for the top, for the separate match play round to allocate individual places for the games. So instead of 3, we will have 4. Okay, any questions about this? If there's anyone from Canada and the US here who would like to know, this is only for recurve. Okay, compound is different. All right, no questions, so I can move ahead. I can go on. Now, then we have 3 more events. And again, we're talking about recurve. Central American Caribbean Games and South American Games. And I will speak about these 2 together because it is the same situation. So at these games, we will allocate 1 individual position in the recurve men and 1 in the recurve women. Okay, let me mute Candice. Okay, good. So again, at these 2 games, we will allocate 1 recurve man, 1 recurve women position to countries that have not won an individual or team position yet. That means they didn't win an individual position or a team position in Tlaxcala, but they have to be in the top 8 of the final ranking of the games. So if, for example, the 8 archers in positions from 1 to 8 come from countries that already won spots in Tlaxcala, then we're not going to allocate any position in this category at the Central American Caribbean Games or the South American Games. So the archers from countries that did not win positions in Tlaxcala will need to be in the top 8 to be able to win a spot for their national Olympic committees. And then we have the final qualifier. The final qualifier will be held somewhere. I already know that there's one country that would like to organize it, and they're going to be sending their bid by March the 20th. This qualifier would probably be sometime in the middle of April. At this qualifier, we will allocate the following spots. 2 teams. So Peru has 1 team position. There will be 5 more positions allocated in Tlaxcala. That means 6, and there will be 2 more allocated in the final qualifier. Now, this team round we will have in the second qualifier, or the final qualifier, will be open only for countries that have not won a team position yet. In addition to the 2 teams, we will have 2 more individual positions from 2 different countries. Now, the number of individual positions may be increased if the 2 teams or one of the 2 teams winning a team spot in the second qualifier already have won an individual position. So this individual position will be will be added to the individual match play round, and we will allocate more places. The same will happen if no positions are allocated at the Central American Caribbean Games or the South American Games. All right. Now, I want to talk now about compound. Are there any questions about recurve? About the way their recurve archers are going to qualify? No? Okay, well. Compound. At the games in in Chile, in 2023, we had 5 teams only. Now we're going to have 6 because the number of archers in the compound category was increased by 2. So we had 10 men, 10 women in Lima 2019, sorry. We had 16 and 16 in Santiago 2023. We're going to have 18 and 18 now in Lima 2027. And these 18 archers will be 6 teams formed by 2 archers only. That means 12, plus 5 more individual archers from 5 different National Olympic Committee, plus a gold medal winner at Asunción 2025. That means a total of 18 archers competing in the compound category. Now, Peru will have only 1 spot, not a team. If they want to win a team position, they need to qualify in one of the 2 team qualifiers. And regarding mixed teams, the same as for the recurve, every country with a man and a woman will be able to compete in the mixed team event. Now, I want to talk about all of the qualifiers. Pan Am Games qualifiers in compound. First of all, the Pan American Championships in Tlaxcala. There will be 4 teams winning spots. Now, though the team competition at the games will be for 2-member teams, the qualifier will be for teams with 3 archers. So if you want to win a spot for the team competition in compound in Tlaxcala, you need to bring 3 archers, not 2. And in addition to the 4 teams, we will allocate 1 more spot to the first place, 1 position, in an individual match play with archers whose National Olympic Committees did not win a team spot. So there will be 9 positions allocated in Tlaxcala. Next, the Central American and Caribbean Games and the South American Games. The same as we explained for the recurve. We will allocate 1 compound man, 1 compound women in these 2 events, and they need to be ranked in the top 8 in the final ranking of the games. Now, for the compound, there will not be a qualifier for North America, given the small number of countries in this region. We will not be able to allocate spots for USA or Canada automatically. They will be involved in the whole qualification system with 2 opportunities to qualify, Tlaxcala and the last qualifier. Now, at the last qualifier, we will allocate 2 teams, of course, 4 archers because the teams are formed by 2, but the teams of the qualifier will be formed by 3 archers, though at the games, the team will be formed by 2 archers only. We will allocate 1 more individual position in a special match play. Now, as happened with the recurve, the number of individual places may be increased, just in case one of the 2 teams winning positions in the second qualifier already had an individual place. This individual place will be moved, will be added to the individual competition in the second qualifier to win an extra spot. Okay? Now, this is a summary now of all the positions to be allocated for the Pan American Games. Again, this is going to be published. You can later download it and then use this information and share it with your coaches, with your archers. That would be perfect. So you don't need to take notes now if you don't want to. Now, the summary here includes all the different ways, all the different forms of qualification, and you will find there the number of positions that will be allocated at each of the qualifiers. So first of all, host country, then Pan Am Junior Games, and then all the different qualifiers. All right?
Sergio.
Yes.
Just a quick question. Like how in the Caribbean, some of us are very small. Can 2 countries join together and be a team?
No. You are different countries. The fact that you're small does not make you share a flag or share a National Olympic Committee. So you need to, I mean, try first to win individual places, as happened with, I don't know, the U.S. Virgin Islands before, or Trinidad and Tobago. I think Barbados also has competed in the recent games with a compound woman. So try at least to win an individual place. But teams are difficult because you need to have more archers. I understand your national federations are small, but there's no way you can combine with countries with other countries. No, because registrations are made through national Olympic committees. There's no way you can combine. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go now. Now, more general information about the games. There are 5 countries, Colombia, Guyana, Panama, Suriname, and Venezuela, who compete at the South American and the Central American and Caribbean Games. So they can be part of the 2 games. So these countries must decide at which of these 2 games they're going to run for Pan Am Games positions. And they need to send us a letter indicating their choice by March the 31st. I don't know if there's anyone from Guyana here. Hopefully there's at least one person. So if there's one person from Guyana and Suriname, please prepare a letter indicating that you have chosen to run for Pan Am Games positions, either of the Central American and Caribbean Games or the South American Games. But this letter has to be endorsed by a letter from the National Olympic Committee indicating that they have agreed with this decision made. Now, I also want to talk about deadlines. We must, with Archery Americas, must announce the allocation of positions by April the 18th in 2027. So I'm going to be sending letters to all the national Olympic committees who have won at least one place, and they need to write back confirming on the 20th of April. Now, when I send the email on the 18th, I'm going to copy the national federations. So it is the responsibility of the national federations to call their national Olympic committees and ask them to confirm in 2 days. If there's no confirmation, or if the places are returned, we will reallocate the positions on the 21st of April. And we will use the results of the last qualifier to make the reallocation of places. Okay? So, some people have asked whether the Pan American Games are going to be a qualifier for the Olympics. We have here the information about what positions would be allocated. 1 recurve mixed team, a man and a woman, and then is correctly used here because the individual competition will happen after the recurve mixed team event. We will allocate 2 recurve individual women positions and 2 recurve individual men positions. And for the compound, there will be also the allocation of 1 compound mixed team position for the Olympics in Los Angeles. If the United States, because they're the host country of the LA 2028 Olympic Games, if the USA wins the gold medal, then the silver medal will secure mixed team place at the Olympic Games. Now, this is all about the the Pan American Games. Are there any questions about the Pan American Games? I know I've gone through this very quickly, but the whole document was already distributed to all our national federations. Okay? If you want to study the document more thoroughly, and then after that you have questions, do not hesitate to come back to me. And if I don't have the answer, I will look for it. And if I have it, of course, I'll give it to you. I want to go now to the Pan Am Games, Lima 2027. The Pan Am Games are going to be held in the same place in Lima 2 weeks after the Pan American Games. And we have great news. And the news are that for Santiago, we had 48 places only. And we were able to get 70 positions for the Lima 2027 Pan Am Games. Since the population here is the English-speaking part, and of course a few other people like Brazil, it is important that the English-speaking Caribbean mainly, because the USA and Canada, they have their plans to develop para archery. Already they have national tournaments for para athletes and all that. But in the English-speaking Caribbean, we want your countries to develop. I have read the strategies that were submitted by most of you of your countries, and I was happy to see that most of the strategies include para archery as a priority. But it is not just for this priority to be in the document. It has to be implemented. And we would like to see more archers from the English-speaking Caribbean competing at para events. We already have had Jamaica competing at 2 events. They were also, they attended the PanAmerican Junior, the PanAmerican Junior Games in Chile last year, but we have not seen more athletes from the English-speaking Caribbean competing internationally. And this is, I think, very important. There's one country, the Bahamas, where they have 1 archer, but the Bahamas, unfortunately, do not have a national Paralympic committee, which means that they cannot compete at the Pan American Games because registrations for the games are made through national Paralympic committees, not through national archery federations. So the distribution of places, the 70 places, have been distributed the following way: 37 men and 33 women. And you may argue that, well, we need to look for gender equity and all that. But I have made a survey. I've made a study of what we have now. And unfortunately, the number of female para archers is lower than the number of male para athletes. And we cannot commit to having the same number of men and women when we know that the situation as it is now will not allow us to do that. So at this moment, we have 37 and 33. This morning at the meeting with the Spanish-speaking countries, there was a question about whether the W1 category could have like a small increase. And I said that depending on the number of participants that we will have in the qualifiers, we might be able to discuss with APC, the America's Paralympic Committee, an increase for mainly for the men's W1 event, where we could have doubles as well. Now, the other good news is that there's an increase in the number of events. For Santiago 2023, we had 8 events, 6 individual events: recurve men, recurve women, compound men, compound women, men W1 and women W1. And we had 2 mixed team events, the recurve and the compound. Now, for Lima 2027, we were able to add 5 more events. We're keeping the same individual events, and we have added the W1 mixed team. I think we're now ready to have a W1 mixed team event. And also, we will have doubles. At this point, what is secured is that we will have the recurve men doubles, the recurve women doubles, the compound men doubles, and the compound women doubles. Not yet any certainty about having W1 doubles. For sure, I think we won't be able to have women W1 doubles because we don't have. I would say only 2 countries have 2 women with international classification today, and they are the United States and Brazil. But in the case of the men, we may have a few more. So if we have enough countries, we will be probably able to discuss with APC a possible increase so that we can have doubles as well in the men W1. Now, what are the ways to qualify for the Pan Am Games? First of all, Peru as a host nation They've been allocated 6 spots, one in each of the 6 individual categories. And if Peru wants to qualify doubles, they need to take part in the doubles qualifiers for the games and win a spot. The first, I'll say, big qualifier will be the PanAmerican Championships in Lima. The organizing committee are now working on the invitation package, which we should be able to publish, I guess, in the middle of April. And there we will allocate positions to the top 3 doubles in the recurve and compound categories, that is men, women. And then 3 individual positions in recurve men, compound men, men W1, women W1, and 1 individual position in recurve women and compound women. Then we have 2 more events, the Paris South American Games, and there you have how many positions are going to be allocated. The Paris South American Games are going to take place before the Pan-American Championships, which means that the allocation of positions at the Paris South American Games will need to wait until we have finished the Pan-American Championships in Peru. We go back to the results of the Paris South American Games, and then we make the allocation of places. Okay? And then the Paris Central American and Caribbean Games, which we have very recently been able to be part of. I mean, we were not included initially on the list of sports to be at the games, but I think we did a good job, and we were able to get included. We will allocate the same number of positions as for the Paris South American Games. This is, I think, a great opportunity for the new federations in para archery. This may include, I understand that Trinidad and Tobago, they're trying to find archers to compete. So attending the Paris Central American and Caribbean Games will be a good opportunity for these countries. First of all, to get their archers to compete internationally. And second, there's a possibility that they can win a spot at these games. Now, the last qualifier, we do not know yet when and where. It will need to be before the end of April next year. And we understand that Brazil will be bidding to organize this event, the last one. We will be allocating 1 place in the doubles events for the 4 categories, recurve men, recurve women, compound men, compound women, in a special round in which only the National Paralympic Committees which did not win a doubles place at the Pan American Championships in 2026 will be competing. And then 1 individual archer in all the 6 individual categories will be allocated a spot. Now, there's a possibility that this number can be increased depending on the results of the doubles, because if a country that won a doubles place in this same event already had an individual position, then this individual position will be added to the individual qualifier. And the last possibility of winning a spot is by receiving an invitational place by the bipartite commission. And this commission will allocate 4 places, 2 men and 2 women. We do not have, I would say, a restriction regarding in which category these positions are going to be allocated. That means depending on the number of participants in the qualifiers, we may decide not to allocate a position to the recurve women, for example, and then we give it to the W1 women. So we have the flexibility of choosing in which of the men's and women's categories we can allocate or we will allocate these places. Now, very important, and this is important for the small federations, because you might not be able to qualify in the qualifiers, but you still want to participate. So you, through your National Paralympic Committee, should request invitational places. And but the process to request the places starts when your National Paralympic Committee sends us a letter requesting an invitational place for your country for specific archers, and this has to be by March the 1st, 2027. Very important. If you want an invitational place, you have to do it this way. Now, the Paralympic Games will be the Pan-American Games will be a qualifier for the Paralympic Games. We do not know at this point how many positions are going to be allocated. We will know very soon, and the information will be made available to all of you as soon as possible. So now, if you have any questions, it is your time. Are there any questions, any comments, anything? I know I went very quickly. I went through it very quickly, but if you still have questions.
Good afternoon.
Oh, there you are, Anna. Go ahead.
About para, I
Yes.
was checking the spots for all the divisions, and I couldn't see the W1. I understand that there won't be in Lima doubles for W1, but I couldn't see the spots in Para Pan American Championship in Lima or
Oh,
in South American Games for the W1 men
just a
individual
minute.
or women.
Just a minute, Anna. We will give, let me see. For the W1, just a minute. Okay, Pan-Am. Okay, there will be 3 spots given in Lima. 3 individual positions in recurve men, compound men, men W1, women W1. So 3 there plus 1 given to Peru as the host country. That is 4. And there will be 1 more given in the last qualifier. So that means that we already have secured 5 men and 5 women. This may be increased by the allocation of positions by the bipartite commission later. Okay.
Thank you. Now I'm
But so far 5 and 5. Anna.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Anyone else? Any comments, any questions? I would like to hear, if possible, from our English-speaking Caribbean, if there's anyone who would like to tell us about whether they plan to have some para archers attending the tournaments to qualify. This is very important for us, mainly for the para Central American and Caribbean Games. Colombia and Venezuela do not compete at the para Central American and Caribbean Games. They have to compete only at the South American Games. And we have 30 places to fill in the para Central American and Caribbean Games. Mexico has several archers, so does Guatemala. But then we rely on the English-speaking Caribbean to be able to complete the 30 places. We have 2 archers in Cuba, as far as I know. We have 1 in the Dominican Republic. We have 1 maybe in Puerto Rico, 3 or 4 in Costa Rica, but we still need a few more to be able to fill the 30 places. So I would like to encourage our English-speaking Caribbean to please look for archers and attend the games, the para Central American Caribbean Games. I don't know if there's anyone who would like to say something.
Hi, Sergio. Nikhil here.
Yes, Nikhil, go ahead. Nikhil's from Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, Nikhil.
Just jumping off of what you said with regard to Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we are making attempt to have archers there at the para CAC games.
Good.
We are still looking, and then we should have enough time to train them to be there at the games. So yes, Trinidad and Tobago is making an attempt to be present there.
Good, thank you. The games are going to be in December, and we're in March.
Oh.
That means 9 months. I know it will be more difficult for maybe the recurve to hit the target of 70 meters.
Yes.
But I mean, I hate to say this, but if you have someone who's able to hit the target, I don't know, maybe not the 6 arrows in every end, this could be considered as a potential participant to win an invitational place. And then
Yeah.
you have more time to get this archer to improve. We had the same situation with Jamaica
Yes.
in 2023. We went to the CDC, I think it was in 2022, and there was an archer from Jamaica in a wheelchair, and he was shooting at 30 meters.
Mhm.
And we talked to him and to the federation, and they were able to bring him to the qualifier. Of course, his results were not very high,
Mhm.
but he won a spot. And the year after, when he went to the games, the results were a lot higher. So
Yes.
this is a process. You can't expect
Results
your
over.
para archers to just be champions in 3 months. Here we have para archers. We have Candace from the U.S. who shoots a recurve, and I'm sure she agrees that it's not easy to do it just from the very beginning. But if you start now, the games will be next year in August. So you have a year and 5 months to get your archers prepared. And one of the ways to get them prepared is by attending a couple of tournaments. I don't know if there's any. Thank you, Nick Hill. I'm happy that Trinidad, you're doing your best. If you have a compound archer, it may be easier, because the distance is shorter and all that, but it's your choice. I mean, you decide. But I will need to have information as soon as you can on, who, or not who, but in which categories you believe you could have more archers, or at least one or two archers. Okay,
Sure,
but
no problem, sir.
it doesn't have to be now, because we need to distribute the positions for the Central American and Caribbean Games to the different Paralympic committees, and that will be based on what the national federations are able to report. All right, good. Anyone else who would like to say something or ask questions about any of the topics addressed? Yes, Rick.
Yes, Sergio. I'm in a session right now, so I'll probably hit you up later after my session's over.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you, Rick.
And Sergio, I just want to clarify, because I know my athletes will ask, Canada is only eligible to earn spots at the Pan Am Championships and the final qualifier, correct? Not the other two events?
Correct. Yes.
Just wanted to confirm, because they will all ask.
You need to move Canada to the south to be able to attend the other games.
I wish it'd be nicer too, so we could host outdoor
And
events a lot sooner.
I'm sure it would not be as cold as it is if you move a little bit to the south.
Agreed.
No problem. Anyone else? Any other questions? Any comments? Well, if not, just I want to tell you that the recording will be published on the website, and also the presentations. And if you have questions, if after this or after you read the documents once again, you still have questions, do not hesitate to write to me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll get it for you. But I'm very hopeful that we will be able to have the 70 spots filled for the Pan Am Games, and that the process to allocate positions for the two games, the Pan Am and the Pan Am Games, will be very successful as well. So thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sergio.
Bye. Bye, Sergio.
Goodbye.